Fever, away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KritzKast. The season is over, champions have been crowned, and players have turned their attention to UGC. However, we've got one final bit of ETF2L business, and that is, of course, handing out some well-deserved awards to individual players for their performances from Season 15. We have some players to talk about, we have some teams to talk about, and of course, we have next season, Season 16, to look forward to. I am CeeJaey, and I'm being joined by a host of talent from the past season. Representing Elephant, the champions, is GardenFungus. Representing the runners-up, Failure Esports, is, of course, one of our admins, Menty. We have from Open Squad 2 players. We have Mezzo, the Spy, and Strno, the Pyro. We also have our very own head admin. It's not going to be a Yoshi. As previously announced, it is going to be a sheep. Sorry, no, Stinson. Stinson is joining us to let us know who has won the awards, as well as Wiethoofd in the background. He's doing all the production and the camera work that you see on the stream in front of you. So kudos to him for putting on a very, very flashy spectacle. But for those of you who've been living under a rock for the past few months, and you have no idea what we're talking about. Of course, we had Season 15 of ETF2L Highlander, which was a bit of a new season. A lot of teams, previous seasons, had folded, new teams formed, and we did see a lot of new faces in the playoffs for this season. And out of the 6 teams that played, one emerged as champions, and that was the newly formed Elephant, with a lot of former SCCK and Strong Opinions players. And they were crowned champions in their first and reportedly only season. Failure Esports were the runners-up for the second season in a row with a different squad this time around. And in third place, we had Lucrosa, who narrowly missed out on relegation in Season 14, but they managed to make third place this time around and sealing that playoff spot. Other teams were Wasp and Budget Toucans to get relegated, while Open Squad finished in 4th. We're going to be talking about with some of the players and seeing what their thoughts are from the season. And of course, we'll be finding out who has won the awards from this season. We've got all the different class awards. We've got debut of the season, MVP, and the caster awards. So there's plenty for us to cover. We're going to start off by talking to GardenFungus there, and I want you to tell me, GardenFungus, Elephant, you stomped the season, UGC champions, undefeated, ETF2L champions, undefeated. A lot of people were saying, expected, we thought it was going to happen.
Very much,
Going into this season, yeah, pretty much. Okay, I was going to say, do you agree with that? Was there any moment in the season where you thought you were going to have to kind of, get into a higher gear, or was it just kind of, you just sailed on through?
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, I know my NG cherry was more paranoid as well, and I'm always pessimistic about it. But, yeah.
Were there any particular teams that surprised you? Because we had Open Squad who, went through the playoffs and got through, and Failure had a brand new roster compared to the team that was runner-up last season's. Strong Opinions weren't there, SCCK weren't there. There was a lot of big teams missing. Was there anyone who you thought, they're going to be a comfortable team to beat, but then they kind of shocked you? I mean, coming from me, I was surprised to see Failure do as well as they did with a brand new team. Did they shock you at all, or was there anyone else?
Mainly Failure. No one else particularly shocked us. But I will say Zamperoni shocked us. He always just turned up in mid-game and slammed. So otherwise, yeah, just Failure.
Okay. You did the double, UGC, you did ETF2L. You were actually only the third team, Strong Opinions and SCCK, the only other 2 teams in history to hold both of those at the same time. So you've kind of got you've put your mark in history there. You got a little elite.
That's great. I didn't even know that, but that's good to know.
Yeah,
cheers.
So there's a few teams that have done it both, but no, only those 2, and now you, of course, have done it at the same time. So congrats. But is there any plans? Because I've heard a lot of people saying it's over for Elephant, but any plans for you to move ahead with Elephant? Is it going to be, a reappearance for Season 16, or was it just a one-time thing?
It was a pretty solid one-time thing. I mean, a lot of players want to just retire, and they'll probably come back and play casually, but I know what we'll see. I know Savage wants to start a team again or play in another team, and I might sub for him, but I'm definitely not coming back. Don't know what Disky's doing, if you happen to know what Disky's doing next season.
As far as I'm aware, he doesn't want to play Highlander ever again.
Yeah, that's the kind of attitude I got.
That was what he told me. It's 6s only, and I think he's pretty concentrated on 7 now.
We killed it for him.
he's absolutely done. I think everyone has squeezed as much Highlander out of a Disky over the past couple of years. There's no more. Okay, well, Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm going to talk to Menty now. Menty, you were, I want to say a new face for Phaler, but that's not really true because you played for Phaler before. I swear you've played like 3 classes for Phaler now. And I think Bloodis has played like 4. I swear you've played Demo, Soldier, something else, maybe Heavy.
I mostly played Soldier, to be honest. I did sub a couple times as Demoman, but I think that's the only 2 classes I played for Phaler.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, you were on the team like a long time ago. I think like season
9 and season 12.
9. Okay, yeah. So back again. Was it any different this time around? Like, did you know what you were getting into? With regards to the team.
I was very ready for what I was getting into. However, I felt more prepared this time. Like season 9 and 12, I was like a bit, I guess, insecure rather about my play, but I felt like this season I was like more ready.
Okay, so like that experience, like you're more prepared for the season. That's cool. I mean, did you like going into it? What was your feeling coming back into it? Were you kind of like, I just want to play some Highlander. I just want to get, I just want to play games, or did you actually think, you could do as well as you did this season because you guys were runners up and you did a pretty good game against Elephant in the final. Like, did that exceed your expectations, or was that what you were kind of thinking and aiming for?
I would say I was expecting us to get playoffs, but I wasn't expecting second place. I guess I thought we were gonna get like third or something. I mean, it was pleasant to get second. It was definitely cool, I guess.
I know, absolutely, and I think I don't think it's kind of rude to say it was a surprise given the quality of the players on the team. But I think changing 7 players from one season to the next is always a very drastic change. Doesn't give you much chance to regroup. But you guys did well. I mean, I'm not sure what happens with Phaler. I think I've casted a UGC game and you weren't present. Is that just for UGC? Are you playing ETF2L next season? Are you playing on a different team or anything? Do you know any of the plans for season 16?
I don't have. I'm not playing UGC for them. That's for sure. Like, I'm not on their roster or anything. I don't really know what I want to do next season. If I want to play, I guess it just depends. If I feel like it, like a couple weeks before the season starts. I'm like, yeah, I would love to play some Highlander Soldier. Then I'll just go and play for Phaler again or play something else, I guess. But for now, it's undecided, I guess.
You just get that craving. You just like sat there in bed one day, like, you know what I could be doing right now?
Yeah.
Instead of being productive with my life, play some Highlander. Okay, that's good to hear, man. It's good to hear. We don't have any representatives from Lucrosa, who were the next highest team. So I'm going to come down to our 2 boys at the bottom there. We've got Mezzo and Strno from OpenScod. Mezzo, I'm going to start off with you, man, and kind of talk about like coming into the season. I think, like, personally, from my part, I saw you guys as probably the team that should be challenging Elephant, simply because you had a lot of players from that season 14 Phaler team that I played against. I knew how good you guys were, and I felt you were probably the next best team to probably challenge Elephant in that route to the playoffs. In the end, you guys finished 4th. There was kind of a few bumps on the way. What were your expectations going into the season, and how well do you think you did in comparison to that?
I thought that we would get into playoffs, but we sadly kind of lost our last game against Phaler, and we got kind of rolled. But the rest of the season was okay, I guess. Like, we had good games, we had some bad games, but we also had like a few roster changes from, like we got a new sniper a couple times, a new Solly and stuff. And 4th is okay for the first season, I guess.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's not bad at all to kind of enter Prem and come up against all these teams and not get relegated. I mean, that's a great starting point. Strno, kind of like looking at the season from your point of view, were there any major kind of moments in time, like Mezzo talked about the roster changes, was there anything that you think, if that had gone another way, that you would have gone into playoffs and maybe done better, or was it just kind of a general thing throughout the season? Was there any like turning point in the season for you?
Well, I would expect we could win against La Crossa because we just tied them 3-3, and like during the scrims we were beating them like 6-0. So that was the point that little broke us. And then against the Wasp there was another point, they actually broke us because again we tied with them 3-3, and yeah, like when we were screaming against them, we were beating them, but I don't know what happened on official, and we just tied them. Yeah, and I think so. You played with us on against the Wasp on the warm tick because we didn't have medic, so. Yeah, we had also some changes in our roster, so I think so. This affect the season. So yeah.
I mean, I'm going to take that as that you're blaming me because I played for Lucrosa. I played for Lucrosa against you guys, and then I played for you guys when you played Wasp. So
no, like
I took points off you, and I also lost you points. So I'm gonna.
No, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you look at the match page, they're saying like we had like, oh yeah, only you as a merc. I mean, so no, I'm not blaming you.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking. No, absolutely. No, I think there's a couple of times when you look back over a season, you see a couple of matches and you think maybe if we got like a couple of points there, that's a huge swing when it comes into the playoff race. Both of you guys like looking towards next season, open squad. You guys are playing in UGC under like a different name. What's the plan for season 16? Are you continuing? Are you still going? What's kind of your aim for ETF2L? Are you kind of thinking that this is going to be your next big season or what?
Yeah, I think we'll get like a kind of complete new roster. Like we got a few new main players, and yeah, I think we still want to get at least top 3. Like that's the goal, and yeah.
We changed some players. I'm not like completely rostered, but
yeah,
I mean,
not completely, but yeah, we got a few new players that didn't even play Prem before, and yeah.
Complete new flank, new medic, new heavy. So there's like new combo. At least I'm staying as a Pyro and Murphy as a demo. Just changing heavy and flank. And like from the scrim, I can tell you we are doing well, but there are no teams apparently now to scrim against, so it's very hard to judge.
Yeah, and we already had an official in UTC against Failer with our new roster. And we played like 4-3 against the new Failer roster. And I think, yeah, if we will improve, we can get into the top 3 next season.
Yeah, I casted that game, I think it was last week or the week before, and that was an extremely close game. So it kind of, that sets the tone for next season. Then it's definitely going to be a close one between those top teams. But thanks very much. The other teams that obviously played, Lucrosa finished in 3rd. I'm going to throw it out there to anyone. Was it a surprise for anyone? Because Lucrosa in season 14, they have the same number of points as Envision, but I think it was just a head-to-head that meant they didn't get relegated. Was anyone surprised that they finished 3rd, as high as they did?
Was I guess unexpected, but I can see why. Like had Wish playing the playoff game that we played against them. They had Wish playing, and he was really, really good. Like he had really good stats. But in general, they showed pretty good team play. So I'm not really surprised in the end. Just unexpected at first.
Yeah, because like from my personal point of view, looking at the other teams, you had Toucans coming back after winning high the season before, and then you had Wasp, who'd obviously been around a long time before, but had some big names like Sprayer, Catman, etc., kind of coming back in. And I think from my point of view, and a lot of other people expected Wasp to be maybe challenging for those playoff spots, but in the end, it was those 2 teams that got relegated. I mean, was that a surprise to anyone else? Did anyone else think those 2 would be higher up in the table?
Yeah, I would have thought Toucans would have been higher up, having won high.
I actually expected Wasp to do better, because in the season it was the only other team that took points from us except Elephant. So I was like, yeah, they're probably gonna get playoffs or at least like 4th, but I guess not.
Like we could end 3rd, but like Rosa got over us by 1 point because of the last match we lost against Layla. We could get like 3rd place. We had to get like 1 point from Layla, and it didn't even happen. So yeah, we ended up 4th.
Yeah, it's those close margins sometimes that, it's just one match that swings it, because 6 points plus for your team compared to 6 points not gained by another can actually make a huge difference in the scape of the table, especially when it's only these days 6 teams. There is very little room for error. I mean, with 8 teams, you could sometimes afford to lose a game and still do pretty well. I mean, I remember the teams that finished kind of in the playoff divisions when there was 8 teams. There were teams that were losing 2 games 6-0 in the season and comfortably getting in like second or third. So, yeah, it does make a big difference. But yeah, I mean, that was the season. I'm not sure if anyone is aware of, I think Lucros is coming back next season. I'm not sure if Toucans are. I'm not sure if Wasp are. I'm not sure what those guys' plans are. I'm not sure if anyone heard any rumors.
I heard La Cruza is getting completely new roster with like half of the people Americans. So that would be like NA team. And about the other team, I don't
Wasp
know.
and Toucans are not playing anymore. Most likely not because Wasp can't find like 2 new Russians because they want a full Russian team. But yeah, so they might not play next season.
Okay, so it's going to be, obviously, I mean, those guys being relegated means that there was 2 spots open anyway, but it means they won't be essentially fighting for those spots when the preseason playoffs comes around. So it'll be interesting to see to what happens coming up.
I heard Strong Opinions is going to play.
Well,
yeah.
who told you that? It's interesting. A lot of people telling me they're hearing things, and it's me hearing them for the first time. Come on, Sheepy. Any other rumors? You're the head admin. You should know these things. You should have your finger in all the pies. Right?
No, it's just the one thing I heard. Just throwing it out there for you to discuss.
Okay. I don't know.
From a head admin perspective, Strong Opinions not playing is the best thing that ever happened to ETF2L in years. Because it actually is fun to watch games again.
I'd argue that the previous few seasons were quite fun, I guess, with STCK.
Oh yeah, with STCK beating Strong Opinions, that was nice to watch. Yeah, but honest to goodness, you don't want to have a team to win like 3 titles in a row as an admin, because it's hard to like motivate people to keep coming back. So
I would say that's more motivation to try and beat the teams at the top. I remember I got into Highlander watching SNSD and thinking, oh my days, there's this team that literally nobody can beat. And then you want to be the best, right? To be the best, you got to beat the best. That's my motivation, anyways. But moving on, let's move on. So we talked about last season. We talked about the possibilities of next season. I don't think there's anything else for us to talk about with regards to anything else. I mean, we've got to think of something to kind of delay the awards a little bit, because you want to give the viewers what they want straight away, because that's just it's not fair. Like, you got to tease them for a little bit. I mean, Menty was promising a dab earlier on, I think. So I mean, you could just have 5 minutes of Menty dabbing and just do that. Or we could get Stinson to tell us who has won the awards. So, of course, guys, the awards were put up on the ETF2L website, and there were people nominated. Now, these nominations were by the teams in Prem. So each team in Prem was asked, who do you think was the best player on Scout? Who do you think was the best player on Soldier? Etc., etc. You had debut, you had MVP, and then all of the casters, I believe, who did the most matches were put up. So everyone was able to nominate from their team, but also from other teams, for the best players in each class. Those nominations were counted up by the admins, and the players with the most nominations were then put up on the website for the public to vote. So obviously, if you have an ETF2L account, you go on there and you can vote for who you think the best. You can see on the screen right now, these are the numbers of nominations from the teams that were in Prem last season. Starting from the bottom, we've got Budget Toucans, who didn't actually get anyone nominated for an award. Wasp got 8 nominations, which is actually the second highest, despite being, second from bottom and being relegated. Open Squad had 5 nominations. Lucrosa had 4. Failer had 6. And Elephant, the champions, had 10 nominations. I mean, to me, that's quite a weird spread of nominations, because I know Wiethoofd's done this graphic in the past, and normally you see it kind of sequentially going down, like the higher teams have the most, and then it gets less and less. But it's like Wasp suddenly has quite a large number at the bottom there. Rigged, maybe? Who? No? I heard someone mutter rigged. I don't know if that was Stinson or Wiethoofd, who knows.
I don't know. No.
You don't know. Okay,
No.
so the admin's not sure if it's rigged or not. Okay.
No, it may or
Okay,
may
so-
not be rigged.
May or may not be rigged. We can do the best we can. So yeah, as you can see, Elephant obviously being the number one team of the season, getting the majority, the elephant share of the nominations. You could even say maybe is that no? It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No,
We're gonna be
really.
bunching it up. It doesn't work.
Here, so
I'm going
thought
to stop
it would
talking.
be
I'm going to
that.
pass it on to Stinson. Stinson, please tell us who was nominated for the Scout class. And just fire away.
With pleasure. Nominated for Scout were May, Lightclaw, and Psychus. And just to follow up on what CeeJaey said, actually, every team can nominate 3 players for each category. And I'm just going to throw it out there. May is the only one of these 3 scouts who has been nominated by all 6 teams. Fun fact of the evening.
Oh, I mean, he was always pretty solid when we played him, so...
Yeah. It's really, really, really good. Like,
But is he the best?
Yes. Yes. Like his tracking is pretty good. Even I had problems against him when I was playing against him. But yeah, he is a very solid scout.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought, if we discuss the winners first and then maybe discuss whether that winner is justified in our, amazing opinion. We're all
Fair enough.
of course.
So I'm going to move on to the winners. This was the absolute ever closest category I've seen in my life, and I've been on some kind of 6s and 99 award shows. All 3 of the players were within 4 votes. First to third. So third place with 32.85% is Psychus. 135 votes. 137 votes. And second is Lightclaw. And May wins with 139 votes. 33.82%. So just not even 1% more than Psychus had. So congratulations to May.
How much was the difference between first and third?
4 votes.
Wow.
Wow, that's really close.
4.97%.
That's insane.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, May's a great scout and playing for the winning team. You've got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think he's won the award once or twice before.
Multiple times, yeah.
Mm.
But do you think that's justified? Or is it just because Psychus is German and there's a big German community and Lightclaw is Russian and there's a big Russian community? That's why it was so close. Should it have been less close?
I don't know. I mean, from my experience, I felt like I could feel when I was playing against May Age and when I wasn't. Let's put it that way. So I was expecting him to win, but not this close, actually. I was expecting to get quite a lot more votes.
Yeah, I think I thought May would be big favorite. I think Lightclaw, he had some big numbers in some of the games that I watched. He would just go in, especially on the DM based maps like 5CP and stuff. He would just go all the way in, and kind of he just really had that raw DM. Whereas May, I think, is more of a player that would just go in, get behind a lot of the time, and really cause problems. So yeah, I mean I would never expected it to be that close, to be honest. Maybe we always bring up the kind of the 6s decision. If there's a 6s player that's well known, that they always pick up a lot of votes. In the past we've had the likes of Thalash and stuff. But maybe because none of those guys are Prem 6s and well known, that there wasn't an outright kind of massive vote winner, perhaps. I don't know.
Well, Psychus has been Prem before, right? And Shocky's
True, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's been a while ago, I guess, already.
Yeah.
Well, he quit Highlander also. He doesn't want to play Highlander anymore.
He's not a big fan of it at all.
Okay, well, that was our first award. That Scout of the season goes to May from Elephant. So we're going to move on to Soldier now. And Stinson, I can't even remember who was up for Soldier, so let us know.
Nominees for Soldiers will Jackalex, our very own Menty, and DQZ.
Yeah.
DQZ. That wasp dude. And Jackalex got the most nominations, Menty second most, and DQ's third most, for those who are interested. And the results are DQ's in the third place with 25% flat. And just like the nominations, Menty in second place, 28%, and Jackalex taking it quite convincingly with 47% of the votes.
Oh, did you see Menty there? He's going straight for the beer.
It's like, I did not go last. Hell yeah.
No, I need to drown my sorrows.
But did you expect to win, Menty?
No, I mean, I'm happy how I played, but I think Jackalex would have won regardless, to be honest.
Menty, you look like you have the most fun playing Highland Soldier, though. I watched your Varduck gameplay.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
going so... Yeah.
Like, Jackie Legs, I think, has been one of the most consistent soldiers over the past few seasons. I mean, there was that era kind of where we had like Ubers and Raptor playing, and I think those two guys were the best. And then Dima came along, and Dima was just insane for a few seasons. And then like Jackie Legs has also been playing. It's been like absolutely brilliant. I think he's like set the bar. But like I have to say, like Menty has really impressed me in a lot of the games that I've watched him play. Like it's not just the DM, but it's the positioning. And I have to say, right, real talk, no memes. If you get Emilio Estevez saying, wow, this Menty guy's really good. He really knows what to do as a soldier in Highlander. I mean, if Emilio says you're good, then that's I think that's like the golden stamp of approval in Highlander. So I think
that's
an award
consider myself as a winner then.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a winner in Emilio's heart. That's the main thing.
I don't know. I've ever only played with Menty in some kind of blep show match, blepature show match, and he sucked ass. But
Yeah.
sorry.
Just trolling.
Right, well, I'm going to bring Strno in for the next award. He has to say something because the next award is going to be Pyro of the season. It's obviously the most skilled class, guys. We need to know who the most skilled player in ETF2L is. Stinson, please tell us who are the best flame boys are of Season 15.
Well, I don't know if they are the best, but they're the most popular. So we had nominated GardenFungus, Strno, and Skitis. Skitis? He's Lithuanian, so I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. But the results were not close. Skitis in third place with 18%. Strno in second place at 31%, and GardenFungus with 50% of the votes. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you, man.
Garden, how do you feel? Because I just want to say, like, I should have said this beforehand, that with Steve winning it so many seasons in a row, and then we had Yahoo and Sinrise, who were kind of the next best Pyros after that, I think a lot of people considered. None of those players were playing this season, so whoever won this award was going to be, like, the first person to win a Pyro. Like, there was going to be a new Pyro.
So are you saying GardenFungus?
You're not making it sound good, man.
Well, what I'm saying is you're on the throne now. You're on the throne.
Oh,
Like,
thanks.
See, someone's got to dislodge you now. How does it feel?
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Well, no, I've always said that Steven Yahoo was miles ahead of me, and yeah, it feels good. It feels good. I'm glad I won it this season.
Because last season you were nominated, weren't you? Even
Yeah, last
But you
season was
didn't
weird
play.
though. I didn't play Prem. Yeah, but I marked for a lot of teams. I suppose they all just, and a lot of them didn't have Pyro mains, so they just voted for me. I think I marked for 3 separate teams.
I mean, that's a good kind of show of quality if you can work for different teams and still put in decent stats. You know,
That's fun.
Strno, commiserations. How do you feel? I mean, second best Pyro in Europe is got to be something of an achievement, right?
Well, even I voted for GardenFungus because he is just a better Pyro. Like, the people call me Reflect God, but that's not the game about. Like, you just can't reflect and play the game. The Garden is more consistent than me, and I think so. He's in the Prem longer than me, so he knows how to play in the Prem. Well, I play like this is my third or second season in Prem. I don't know, so I have lots of to learn. But yeah, he deserved that, so there's no problem.
Did you really vote for him though? Because you do know I can check that, right?
Yes, you check that out. I'm not lying.
No, he told me.
I told him. I even
bluffing,
told
I'm
the Garden. I even a screenshot that's like, look, I voted for you because you deserve that. So, not lying.
I mean, that's respect. That's got to be. I mean, do you know the first? Sorry, go on, Citizen.
I've watched Strno since he played in High. I think I merked against him. I always said that he should go straight to Prem and learn the Prem game sense.
I was just going to say the first time I played against Strno was Deutschland.
Deutschland, yeah.
2 years ago, and he had this sick play against my team on Steel.
You had to bring up Deutschland.
I had to be in Deutschland. He well, no, because we were playing in, and Strno like basically killed 4 of us. Like he got like a reflect pipe kill, and then pushed 2 more people in the pit, and then I think I died to a sentry. I think I dropped to a sentry. So,
yes, you did.
And and then after the game, they came over to our house to kind of, shake hands, say GG. And I was like, where is the Pyro? I want that demo. I still have that demo on my computer. I'm still intending to put that on a video somehow of Strno absolutely obliterating me and my team. So yeah, I mean, I think from then, it wasn't just that moment. Seeing you in later games, I did think you were going to be a decent Pyro. Coming up, I mean, anyone got anything to say about Sketis for Wasp? Didn't get to see him that much this season, but
no, exactly. I didn't see much.
I haven't seen him at all, but I've met people who were really hyped about him. So I think we should watch out for him because I noticed that when the Falls Deputy of the Season award went up, that a lot of people were really upset that he wasn't in there. And I know Clark is a big fan of him, so I don't know anything about his gameplay, but I think we will hear his name in the future.
I mean, Sketis was pretty good when I played against him, but I'm a bit surprised that Crayon was nominated, because when I played against Crayon, it was Highlander for me as a soldier. I just couldn't do almost anything against Crayon, so I'm a bit surprised he isn't here.
GardenFungus had all 6 nominations of all Prem players, Prem teams, and Krana only had 1, which I reckon was from his own team. So,
Damn.
I guess
your perception.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to, like, if you've got 2-3 nominations, and most people are going to go for the big names, I guess, which would be the teams that finish the top. So, I mean, maybe names to look out for next season. We'll move on to Demoman now. The big damages. I think there's some familiar names. I think these names have been in the award show for the past few seasons now. Yeah, so Stinson, hit us.
Nominations. Demoman of the Season, Highlander Season 15 were Ediski, Snoz, and Joe. Because I'm not allowed to say Joanne, because that's a female name. And we have actually Snoz in 3rd place with the percentages 18%. And I gotta say, this is the most decisive vote. We have the closest vote on Scout of the Season, and this is the most decisive I've ever seen across any game mode. Wiethoofd, get ready, because Ediski won with 73%. 73. And Joe is 2nd with 27. So congratulations, Ediski. Last season ever of Highlander. I guess that was your gift to leave.
He'll be back. Someone will bring him back.
Pretty sure he said he never wanted to play again after season 10. And,
yeah.
I mean, we've squeezed out a few more from him. And yeah, I mean, Garden, what's it like to play alongside in the combo with Ediski this season?
Oh, it's great. He plays to win. That's what's really good about it. Like, he's a smart player, great DM, everything about him I like. Couldn't speak more highly of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is insanely good. it's difficult to kind of put your finger on it, I guess. I mean, it's just Demoman. You've got to be a good player. But it's not a surprise that when you take a look at the winning teams for the past few seasons, or the top teams at least, he's been there. I mean, ever since season 10, when he was in the final with Fair Enough, and then he was Strong Opinions, then now with Elephant, he's always been a player that has stood out. And I'm not sure how many Demo of the seasons now it's been for him. I would say maybe that's 3. I'd have to have somebody whisper in my ear.
I mean, he's like a really good demo man, no doubt. Whatsoever, but he could be less cocky about it.
Oh.
Like I don't know. Like last season or the season before that I don't think he was actually main in the team. Kind of like GardenFungus, where you said like he played for a couple teams, so he only played like 4 games, but he played like playoffs, semi-finals, finals, and he won Demoman of the season. And he was like, I like this Highlander is dead or something, like ETF2L is a joke and that kind of thing. Like, you know, I realized that he's a good player and all that stuff, but I wish he was a little bit more grateful to it, you know. Like he's obviously a strong player, and I appreciate when strong, also like successful singles players play Highlander, because that obviously brings people towards the game mode, but I wish he was a little bit less outspoken to how much he despises Highlander. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like from an admin perspective.
Yeah, you want people to talk more highly of Highlander, perhaps.
Or
if
just not talk. Right? If you're playing, that's cool and all. And if you don't like it, that's sad. But just like don't trash talk the game mode.
I mean, I also say, I don't want to play Highlander anymore, and then you just see me every second season still playing Highlander, so I think it's just a thing in denial.
It is. So yeah, I mean, Menty, you're a what's the word? Serial relapser of Highlander. You always come back. I mean, there's got to be some pull to. I mean, let's segue onto that, Menty. Playing with Joe. Joe, I think, has been nominated for Demo of the season at least like every season he's been since probably season 5. He's back on It's All Good. Like, he's been in and out of these nominations. I'm not sure if he's ever won or not. I don't think he has. But, I mean, what's it like playing with Joe, you know, as a demo man? Like, how highly do you rate him?
I mean, as much as that disc is good, I voted Joe myself because of the way, like, he just commanded in our team. Like, he was honestly just main calling so hard for us. Like, without him, I don't think Feda would have gotten as far as we got for sure. Like, if we had any other Demoman, except maybe a disc, I guess. But like, don't know. I feel like Joe is just so central to the team that couldn't do without him.
I mean, the thing with Joe is he does all the main calling and he pretty much micros his team half the time about what he wants them to do. It's not just about Demoman then, it's about kind of... I always wondered if it was possible for kind of people to have like this kind of main caller of the season kind of thing, because we have people with these big brains. Like, I mean, over the years you got like Emilio, Hildreth, Joe, like people who really just kind of coordinate their teams with their calls, and that's not always respective kind of shown in the logs and kind of results. But yeah, I mean, Joe definitely is one of those players. I mean, Strno and Mezzo playing against like sort of other players this season. You know, CNOS or Nos was down there in 3rd. How do you rate him? How do you rate kind of other players this season, like other demos? We have people like Wiethoofd and obviously Murphy on your team. Like, how would you rate those guys compared to like Joe and the Disky?
I don't think like Murphy is on a level like on a Disky, but he played his first Prem season, and in my opinion, he was like really good. And Wiethoofd is also pretty good in my opinion, but I don't think like they are on a level like as on a Disky's level. But yeah, Xenos was... I think Xenos kind of carried Lacrosse in the end, and yeah, when we played against them, he was like always the outstanding players, and yeah, but...
Strno, any thoughts as a Pyro who's piped to the west to reflect?
Pipe worse to reflect. I don't know. I didn't have a problem to reflect Risky's pipes. Neither the Joe and Nose. I think so. Of course, the Risky is the best Demoman. Well, I didn't like the Joe ways playing the game. I feel like he's playing by him and not like the team. So it's like Joe Fortress 2, I would say. But if you kill Joe, it's like chaos in the team. I can tell you from the experience because I played for Joe like 2 seasons, I guess, or 1. And I just didn't like the way how he's playing. And his comms, neither I didn't like them. But Risky's comms, I don't know. I think so. Risky's calls were pretty clear and like had a point. But sometimes Joe's calls like didn't have a point, so it was just a basic thing to do. And I didn't play with Nos too much, so I can't judge the Nos. Neither did Wiethoofd.
Yeah, sometimes Joe calls get to the critical kind of point. But
Yes.
like, I feel like when he's in the zone, his calls are really, really good. Like they're really on point. Like when he's really into the game.
But it's when he's in the zone. That's the
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes it's just gonna be a mess.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's move on to the most exciting class of Highlander, obviously. I mean, let's be honest. You get to throw sandwiches around. I mean, what more can be exciting than that? Let's be honest. It is, of course, a heavy of the season. Let's see who the top hootesses are. Stinson, hit me.
Hitting you with the nominees: Poker, Sandburn, and Catman. And Poker, Sandburn both had 5 nominations each, and Catman 4. So the next one was Bloodus with 2, Crunk 1. Sorry, Crunk. The results are Poker in 3rd place, only 1 vote behind Catman, 29.87%. Catman 30.13%, and Sandburn once again wins heavy of the season with 40 flat. Congratulations. Probably the most edgy heavy main we've had in ETL. From what I can judge.
I mean, 2 Russians playing the Russian class and they don't win the award. That's got to be rigged.
Well, that's probably because the Russian community like divided their votes between the 2, and then Sandburn just like swooped in and got all the other votes.
Well, it was 2 kind of all 3 have won the award previously. What am I talking about? Catman's won it twice. I think it's season 9 and 10. Sandburn's won it 12 and 13. Poker won it season 14 with Sandburn playing demo that season. So yeah, all three heavies had previously won the award on multiple occasions. So I guess that's kind of like a battle of the titans.
And most of them against Emilio Estevez.
Yes, that is true. Garden, again, another one of your combo players playing alongside Sandburn. I mean, sometimes I get confused. I'm not sure if it's a Disky or Sandburn kind of main calling for you guys, but, you know, what kind of influence does he have on the team? Because he's been a really dominant force on him.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, actually, in case you guys are curious, the general plan was, it's rough, like whoever main calls would main call, but Sandburn normally took the payload maps, Disky took the DM heavy. So they both had a lot of influence on the team.
Yeah.
Playing against Sandburn was like, it felt like he was in the right position at the right time so many times where we just punish our team whenever we played against Elephant. While...
What do you think of him on, what's that map called? I think against Failer in the...
Coal Plant?
Yeah, Coal Plant. I think it's Coal Plant.
Yeah,
King of the Hill map, with the drop down bit. Where you
kind of owned us there, not gonna lie. But like, I don't know, I felt like the other Catman and Poker weren't up to the level. Like, especially Catman, a lot of the times I just saw him like in really silly positions, just dying immediately. So I don't think either of them were at the level of Sunburn. It was just one level above them.
What about playing with Poker, Mezzo, Strno? You guys had him on your team for this season after he kind of moved over with you guys from Failer. What's it like playing with him in that environment?
We already played with him a season before with Failer, I think, yeah. And he was pretty good, but the problem is like, yeah, sometimes he doesn't understand what we want to do or what we are doing, and yeah, as a combo player, that might be a problem sometimes. But in the end, like, he's a really good heavy, like, for real. But
what about Catman? I mean, Catman, it's difficult to kind of describe Catman because a lot of people see him as a really good heavy, and then there's other people who are saying it's like it's a meme of him winning awards in the past, like season 9 and 10. How much do you guys rate Catman as a player? Is he still as good of a player he was when he was on kind of the previous Unpoppable Wasp rosters? You know, is it a meme that he's being nominated, or is Catman really good? And you know, what's your assessment of Catman? How good is he in comparison to like other heavies at the moment?
In my opinion, he's like pretty equal to Poker. Like they're like on the same level in my opinion. They're like both pretty good. But I think Sandburn is the best. Like, yeah. And you will see that on the stats as well. Like his stats are so really good. And he's outstanding.
Menty, I was just talking about, you know, Catman. How would you rate him? Because you don't think you played with Poker when he was on Failer, but I mean, in comparison to Sandburn, if we're putting Sandburn as, you know, the current winner, and I think that's what he's third heavy of the season, I think. If we're putting Sandburn as the landmark, how far away are the likes of Poker and Catman from reaching that level?
I mean, Catman is like a special case, I guess. Like he's known for like going for very sneaky stuff where he gets like unexpected picks, but I think he needs to work on that because, you know, half of the time it will work and it will be something that teams just don't expect and get punished for, but half of the times he's going to be standing in super obvious spots and just feed. So I guess he just has to work on that, and I guess I don't have much of an opinion of Poker, but I don't know what to say about Poker actually, but about Catman, definitely has to work on his positioning sometimes.
Okay, that's a fair assessment, I think. We'll move on to another class, the next one down the pecking order, and that is going to be Engineer. Engineer of the season, Stinston. Tell me who's been building the best sentries this season.
I can tell you who has been not building the best sentries this season. And you all know what I'm talking about. Yes, the meme has lived past. Nominated were Spamfest, Terry Rendezvous, and Rambasaur. And in this category, Rambasaur had 3 nominations, Spamfest 5, Terry 4. And the results were in that order, I believe. No, actually, Spamfest, 3rd place, 26.7%. And Engineer of the season, I think he's won it before in his old days with Chess Club. Cherry Rendezvous, 44%, before Rambasaur with 30%, 29% actually. Congratulations, Cherry.
Garden, I mean, I'm just coming over to you, man. It's just constantly like, you know, tell me about your teammates. The night with GardenFungus. How much do you rate Cherry as an engineer on your team? You ever a Pyro to him at all? Or?
Yeah, Pyro, home wrecker Pyro sometimes. No, he's a great guy. I've known him probably the longest, along with Sandburn, apart from a few guys before that in Digital Alliance. But as an engineer, he's a really smart player, and he just he takes it very seriously. I love it. Really love it.
I mean, I think Stinston's right. He won it back when he was playing for Chess Club. He's played for some top teams over the times. You know, I think he was in the final for Fair Enough. I think he played for STCK a couple of classes. You know, more recent seasons. Coming on to you, Menty, to talk about Spamfest. I mean, I played with Spamfest last season, but he merked heavy for us for a few times, and I think he actually played NG for us once. But he's a delight to have in Mumble. Like he's just so positive all the time. What was it like playing with him for the whole season?
Spamfest was nothing to be mumble, that's for sure. But like, I don't know how Spamfest got third because of all the endings I've seen. Spamfest was probably the best. And what's burned in my mind is that one play on Bad Weather third, where Spamfest wrangles a mini centaur to jump up to like top left balcony on third point and just kill the heavy. I was just blew my mind. Like in my stream, I think at the time I said my engineer is a fucking hell, which is what I said.
That was legit one of the best plays I'd ever seen when I was watching.
Definitely.
I was like, I couldn't believe I it's such a simple thing, but to actually do it and pull it off and kill the heavy and just be so nonchalant about it was insane.
It just blew my mind. Like at that point, I was just, wow, this engine is really good.
Yeah, crazy.
So,
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I felt at the very least second place would have been deserved, but I don't see how Spamfest just got there.
I mean, there's a lot of Rambasaur fans out there. He was on Lucrosa this season. He finished third, obviously.
And Rambasaur was also at LAN, so like he made a lot of friends there, right?
Rambasaur definitely was at LAN, showing off those insane biceps. So I think Rambo biceps is the best TF2 meme. How do you guys rate Rambo? I mean, how much did you say you got? 30%, Stinson?
You caught me on the wrong foot there. Hang on. He had 39.3.
Okay, I mean, Strno, how have you felt playing against Rambo this season? Did he stand out for you at all?
Rambo's style is very different than other NGs. So judging Rambo, I don't know, because when I play, I don't really like focus that much on the NGs. Like my targets are just always in Demoman, but it also depends on the map, because Rambo's style on the product is very different than the other NGs, and I don't know. I think so. He didn't have the impact on the game that much as Cherry, how to call the name, or the Spamfest. But Cherry is a very good NG, and judging Rambo, it's very hard as a Pyro to judge engineer.
Fair play. I mean, Mezzo, you're more used to trying to go for the cheeky stab and saps. I mean, any of the engineers kind of stand out to you for their awareness this season?
For me as Spy, it's like the hardest to play against Cherry, I guess. But we already played with Rambo this season. He's playing like for us in UGC, and we won with him against the second place team from last season, and we won with him. And we played with Failer with him. We played against Failer with him, and like he had as many frags as both Spies, and he outfragged their sniper, which is pretty damn good as NG. And yeah, I didn't expect him to be that good, but yeah.
Well, there we go. So Cherry Rendezvous for Elephant winning Engineer of the Season. We're down to our final 3 classes now. And for our next one, we are going to have a brand new winner, because none of these guys have been awarded Medic of the Season. The Healing Dude. Stinson, tell us who was nominated.
With pleasure. Nominated for Medic of the Season were Graba, Degu, and Enyer. I don't know. Russian names are weird. And all 3 of them are from Eastern Europe, of course. By the way, this was one of the easiest for me to nominate, because Graba had 5 nominations out of 6, Degu 4, Enyer 4, and all other medics had 1. So we had Zamperoni, Sprayer, DVS, and Layla all with 1 vote. And we can discuss this later, but at least the 1 vote for Layla surprised me personally, because she was nominated before. And the results are Graba, third place, 26%. And the Medic of the Season for Highlander Season 15 is Degu, 44.6, and Enyer, 29.7. Congratulations, Degu. Gu?
Don't do it, CeeJaey.
I'm going to go over to the obvious person to talk to here. It's going to be Menty. Menty, how do you feel about Layla not being nominated? Because Stinson touched on it there. Layla, I believe she was nominated for the past few seasons now, and last season she was nominated in the top 3, I think, after reaching the final. Do you think she should have been nominated based on you guys' performance of getting to the final at least?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, she did okay. I mean, a bit surprising, but oh well. I'm happy with Dego winning though, because like when he played against Elephant, he did play pretty well, even though he's, I guess, not got much experience in Highlander, just 6s. So he did okay. So that's cool.
I guess I should ask GardenFungus. I guess I should move it over and say, yeah, Degu. Another combo player that you're playing with. I mean, you guys, I think, when you were playing for STCK, maybe have had Degu as a sub here and there. But I think, unless I'm wrong, this was his first whole season of Highlander, at least in Prem. How did you rate him playing compared to other medics you've played with over the years?
I liked it a lot. He improved a lot as well. Like at the start of the season, he had a bit of a hard time, as Menty says, going from 6s to Highlander, just getting picked by spies and snipers like you expect. But he improved a lot. It was great to play with him. I mean, I can't judge a medic very well. What do you think, CeeJaey, from watching him play?
Yeah, I mean, it's always very difficult for me when I'm playing to judge other medics, I feel, because it's probably the class I see the least of as playing as a medic. But from watching this season, I think, I was surprised. I was trying to rack my brains, had I seen Degu play before, and I think he had played a few seasons ago, but only a couple of matches. But like you say, that when you transition from 6s, it's always, I'm going to get backstabbed, I'm going to get sniped or whatever. But no, I mean, I think compared to when you have to consider the players that you've been playing against, these top players, he performed extremely well under the circumstances, and it didn't really show that he was, a new medic to Highlander or anything like that. So I think it's justified. I mean, it's actually interesting to see sort of Grabber there, Enya, who. I guess Layla was the team that was on second, so Luke Rose third. There was no Zamperoni in fourth. So, I mean, Enya, I think, has been nominated before.
Yeah, he has been.
Past. Yeah,
I think back in the days he played for STCK.
Yeah, season 11, I think, perhaps. Yeah. And Grabber, I mean, I think Grabber's a really interesting case because I remember really far back, like season 8, there was the whole lol Grabber meme of Grabber trying to get into Prem 6s and Prem Highlander. And I mean, he's played in both now and he's been nominated, so he clearly has the ability. I mean, I don't know how much you guys rate the medics that you've played against, Mezzo, trying to go for those stabs. Are there any medics that are super aware that that you can just never stab, other than me, of course. But I mean, anyone else?
I think we never really scrimmed against Elephant because they're not scrimming. I think we only played against Lucrosa and Phaela and Wasp here, right? And I think it was the easiest to get like Layla, and I don't know. I don't think she's not that well protected, and the Russian medic from Wasp is pretty spy aware, like Enyer or whatever his name is. He's pretty good, and yeah, I think I never really played against Elephant, so I don't know. But I played a couple times with them, and yeah, I think Dego is pretty good.
I think that it's good from a medic. Also, it's hard to judge from one season, and I think that's like the first season Degu actually played as a main medic or as a main player in Highlander even. And I think something that people appreciate most about medics is the consistency. And it's hard to say, like, after this one season, for me personally, that which he played in the best team in, like, that he's an extraordinarily good medic. I'm not saying he's not, but it's hard for me to judge.
Definitely a factor, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do know, like, when we look back at previous winning teams, I remember the season 8 team that Chess won, and they had Robin on medic. And I remember the entire time during the season, everyone was complaining about his medic style, and the team did win. But I think in that case, he wasn't nominated for medic of the season or anything like that, I don't think. So I think it does show if you're not an outstanding medic on a team, regardless of whether you win or not. But I don't think there are any glaring mistakes. I mean, I wouldn't say there are any medics that were, horrifically bad out of the ones here. It's not as if they made any mistakes. Everyone just was solid. And yeah, it's difficult to say as a medic, if you put someone in a different situation, would they perform just as well? But yeah, I mean, we've just got to take what we can see in front of us, I suppose. But we move on to another class here, and we've got the one that shoots people faces off. Of course, it's the sniper, Stinson, who was the best rooty tooty point and shooty of the season.
All right, sniper of the season nominated were Kazarok, Der Milchmann, and Morg. I'm always tempted to say Der Milkman because it's been a meme from X time, from one of the top 10s like 10 years ago, but he always is really angry with me. The results: sniper of the season, Kazarok in third place, 28.5%, though a pretty good debut, I think. And in second place, you have Morg, 31% of the votes, and Milchmann wins sniper of the season with 40.4%. Congratulations.
So there we go, guys. Another elephant win, and it's going to be the Milchman. I mean, I'm going to start off by going to launch some praise Milchman's way. I think he's an insane sniper. I play with him sixes, and teams hate playing against us when he plays sniper because he just hits shots. And I think for half the season he was running Sydney Sleeper. So, I mean, if you can still pump out the numbers while doing that, I think that's fairly impressive. And they're really good snipers. I mean, Kazarok, stepping in for Failer after they had Cloudy the season before, and I think a lot of people hadn't heard of Kazarok before he played this season, and then he did insanely well. And of course, Morg is someone a lot of people know from a long time ago, the previous Wasp iteration. So I mean, there's some insane quality there when it comes to sniping. I mean, Menty, how much did you rate Kazarok this season playing with him?
At the start, I wasn't very sure because I hadn't heard much about him. The only previous name mention I've had of him was when he was playing for France in the Nations Cup, and that's about it. So I wasn't very sure what to expect, but he did really, really well, consistently. Lots of headshots, lots of damage, lots of kills. So I was very pleased. However, I must admit I did vote Milchmann for the German bias.
Wow, Stinson, you're hearing this. The German conspiracy is leaking. We're finding out the admin bias.
No comment.
No comment. Mezzo, you want to kill those snipers. You had a few different snipers this season. I believe you started off with Cloudy, then you had Pineapple Wolf, I think, for a short time, and then you had Birdie. For the remainder of the season. Do you think any of those guys were kind of, worthy of a nomination for this season?
I think Birdie only played 2 games for us, and Piney only played 1 game for us. So I don't really know how they would perform in a complete season, but they did well. And about the nominations, I don't know. I think Kazarok would have deserved it the most. He did really damn good first season.
I think I can just sorry to cut you off there, but Kazarok had 5 nominations, Morg 4, Milkman 3. So Milkman had the least nominations from the Prem teams, but wins the category.
I mean, that's interesting. When you consider the nominations are essentially kind of the stamp of approval from the other Prem teams. So if 5 out of the 6 teams were giving Kazarok the nod. I mean, only 3 nominations for Milchman. Fungus. I mean, how much? I think you guys played a couple of games with Nate this season. I'm not sure like the exact numbers, but
Nate had 2 nominations, by the way. He was
oh, okay.
nominated, yeah.
They obviously played enough to be in with the awards. I mean,
Yeah,
how much do you rate Milchman? As a sniper?
I rate him a lot. Yeah, I think Nate and Milchman are similar on DM and name, but Milchman just has that little edge that makes him great to play with, and game sense wise, it's good. Did we say KazRock came in second? Because he was my next favorite, I think, on the list.
He was third, I believe.
He was third.
yeah.
I'm surprised by that. Yeah, I thought KazRock would come in second.
Yeah, I mean, any comments on Morg? I mean, Morg, I remember season kind of 7-8 talking to Saini, and Saini was, everyone regarded him as the best sniper when he was playing for Premtech, and he won Sniper of the Season and all of this. And I remember him saying there was no sniper that he was worried about playing against. The only sniper he didn't like playing against was Morg, because his sniper v sniper kind of ability was just better than anyone else he was playing at the time. And then for considering there was the likes of Tracker, Framello, and all these playing around at that time, I thought that was quite a testament. I mean, on Morg's return, because I know he's been away with the army for a long time, how well do you think you guys think he played this season? Strno, I'm going to ask you, because you haven't spoken on snipers yet.
Well, I'm really annoyed when I get sniped by any sniper. That's the first point. Like, I'm just trying to not be sniped, but if I look at the logs after the game, like the sniper has the most headshots on me. So I don't know if I'm just like triggering the snipers to kill me, but yeah, from my perspective, he is one of the best, I would say. Either Milchman or KazRock. So, but I thought the KazRock would win, because when I was playing against him, he was really insane. He had a huge impact, but also like Kof. Wait, where did the Kof play? Which team? I think La Crossa? It was La Crossa, yeah. The Kof also had an impact. And yeah, there was a meme that I always request the Kof demo, because I don't believe him is playing that insanely. So yeah, that's my perspective.
Okay. Well, thanks for the input. We're going to move on to the final class now, guys. And so far, we've had bit of a clean sweep when it comes to the awards for one team. Elephant has won 8 out of 8 so far, which, I mean, if there's any sign of you winning a season, I think that's a pretty good indication. But they won't be winning the final award, and that's something I want to discuss after we've announced the winners. So Stinson, Spy of the Season, who were the 3 people up for nomination?
Nominated were Mezzo, Chuper, and Adjay. Adjay. I'm bad with names. Fun fact, Mezzo had nominations from all 6 of the Prem teams, so he was going into this one as favorite. Of course, nobody knew that, but third place, Adjay, 27.7%. And winning Spy of the Season, Highlander Season 15, is Mezzo, 41.6%, and Super 30.1%. So a respectable margin, but not too much of a margin. Mezzo, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Did you expect it?
Well, the thing is, like, I didn't get into like playoffs, and yeah, I'm kind of surprised, but I wouldn't say that I did bad or anything. Like, I did okay, I guess.
Do you think that maybe your performance in season 14 was still like in people's minds? Because I think when Toast won it in season 14, I think a lot of people felt a little bit aggrieved. I think there was a lot of people calling for you to win, and you came runner-up there, I believe, or third. Can't remember exactly, but I mean, coming into this season, I think a lot of people saw you as the spy to beat. And you, like you said, you didn't do anything bad this season. It's not as if you underperformed. So people probably, are putting you at that level. I mean, do you feel like that at the moment? Do you feel like you are the spy kind of to beat?
Well, yeah, kind of. I think like Adye and Wilklick are like on a kind of same level. Like, we play kind of different, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but
it's interesting you mentioned Viljak, because I mean, I'll be biased because he's my friend and teammate and stuff like that, but I was extremely surprised not to see him nominated because being on the winning team, generally you're predisposed to being nominated, but he's been a player that's been around for a long time. He was one of those players that got a lot of headshots back in the day that, stood out for me. I mean, I don't know if Stinson can tell me how many nominations he got, but I was quite surprised not to see him within the top 3.
It was very close between him and RJ. So Trooper was the second most, and they were almost tight.
I mean, Fungus, how do you feel about Viljak?
I think he should definitely be nominated at least, but he didn't. I can't remember exactly, but he didn't. He missed out on quite a few officials, didn't he? At least I think he didn't play the grand finals. Can anyone remember that exactly? Or he made it back for the grand finals last minute. He just wasn't going to make it.
I guess we can look.
Yeah,
Either way, while we do that, we played very well. My favorite was probably Mezzo for out of those 3 nominations. But then Ajay slammed in the grand finals, so it's hard. It's hard to pick spiders.
But you can't judge from the one game, Respect the whole season,
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, to be fair though, the grand finals, the biggest high pressure point of the season. So if you perform and not only perform but stand out in the game of the season, then I'm assuming that you're someone who performs when it matters, and that also has to at least weight it against being consistent, especially on a class like Spy because it's a really flashy one.
Yeah, but you can see Mezzo won, and we didn't even get to the playoffs. Because I think so people just watch, I mean, they look at the spy, the 3 spies, who should I nominate? And then just they will start to remember how the spy play against them and which spy is the best. And yeah, we didn't get to playoffs and Mezzo got nominated and he won. And still, because he just did very well during the season, I think so people just remember that.
But I mean, if that's I think RJ deserved the nomination because he performed in the grand finals. I'm not saying he's the best spy, but
yeah, I mean, Menty playing with Ajay this season. How did you rate his spy? Because I think there was some moments in the grand final where I saw both spies were popping off, but Ajay was going on these sprees and kind of cleaning up a few times. I mean, how does it feel to be playing when your spy is doing that much work?
Over the season, I felt he was doing quite good. Never, maybe I don't remember it properly, but I don't think he ever went super, really went off during the season. But I definitely noticed in the grand finals, and Wormtic especially, who was just almost carrying us. It's quite crazy. So I'm a bit surprised that they only got 3rd place.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny. It's people think there's these rules where you play in the final, people are going to nominate you, but Viljak wasn't nominated. Do well in the final. Ajay did really, really well in the final. Mezzo didn't reach the playoffs and has won the award. So yeah, I mean, there's no rules. I mean, sometimes it's just who people thought was the best player. I mean, Chupa as well, I think has been a player that has stood out for a long time. He's played on a number of different teams. And I think his style hasn't really been affected by the recent nerfs to Spy. So I think he's been fairly consistent throughout, playing in his way. But no, I mean, it's all really good spies. And I think Spy, there was quite an abundance of good players this season. So I guess it was quite difficult to narrow it down to 3. But there we go. Those are our 9 classes, of the Season 15 awards. So just to quickly clarify, quick reboot. Scout of the season was May. Soldier of the season was Jackie Legs. Pyro of the season was GardenFungus. Demo of the season, Adiski. Heavy was Sandburn. NG, Cherry Rendezvous. Medic was Degu, Sniper, Demilchman, and Spy, Mezzo. The first 8 names there were all from Elephant, whereas Mezzo was from Open Squad. We've got 3 more awards to go. We're going to go into a non-playing one, and for now, we're going to leave the two biggies, I guess, till the end. I like to save the best till last, end the show on a high. So we're going to go over to Caster of the Season, Stinson. Obviously, a non-playing award. Let us know who were the best talkers of the season, I suppose.
that is not like a playing category at all, but all of these people are well known in the Highlander community. We had nominated CeeJaey, of course, Domedo, Gamma, George Bai, and Chando. A land-proven Highlander caster at Copenhagen Games. And the results are actually, I'm going to say it after because it's going to ruin the suspense, but Chando is 5th place with 8% of the votes. George Bai with 10% of the votes on 4th place. Gamma with 11.3% of the votes. And I know Domedo is really nervous right now because he's in the top 2. But it wasn't quite enough because CeeJaey takes it with 54.8%. Destroys the opposition and is cast out of the season once more. Congratulations, Carlos.
Thank you. No, it's really nice to see all of the people, because looking at that list there, that doesn't even touch the surface of the talent we've had on KritzKast. And obviously, there's other people who are doing casting as well outside of KritzKast, but it's great. And as well, having this season like UGC, we've had more people casting. We had a cup the other day. We've had more casters. So thank you for people who voted for me. But as well, it's great to have. I love casting with all of the people. I haven't casted with Gamma yet. So maybe at some point in the future, but it's great casting with all of these guys, and it's really nice to have such a wealth of talent available to us.
I want to point out though, congratulations, because I think personally CeeJaey is the best caster we have in Europe. But I have to shout out Strno's effort to get to Copenhagen to put money, his own personal money, on the line to cast Highlander at LAN. Probably the most professional Highlander cast we had was Jacob Watty, also KritzKast caster, not nominated here, but he was active in previous seasons. So obviously CeeJaey, you were there as a player, so you couldn't cast. I'm not saying you don't put effort in this, but I think that has to be mentioned somewhere that he was there the whole weekend only to cast Highlander at LAN.
And Jacob Watty was as well. I mean, Jacob Watty wasn't in the list here. I don't think. Yeah. I'm not sure if he actually casted this season or not. I think he may be doing some UGC here and there, but he also, like Stinson said, made the effort to come all the way to Denmark just to cast. Wasn't playing at all, was just there to talk over the games. So, that the coverage was absolutely insane. KritzKast did an amazing job, and those two boys were fantastic, talking about the games and just putting on a great face for Highlander when a lot of people thought we shouldn't be there, but we were there, and it all went really well, I felt. So, thanks to those guys for putting on a great face, and hopefully we continue to have some great Highlander casting in the future. We're going to move on back to the playing categories. You guys don't care about talking. You guys want to hear about players, and now we've got debut of the season. Debut of the season, guys. It's something that's nominated for, but it's very restricted. Obviously, it has to be the first season you've played in Prem. Now, there was not a recount or a revote or anything, but there was a situation where a hiccup, where someone was added, even if you've played one game, even if you've murked Prem back when you were 10 in season 1 or something like that, doesn't matter. You can never have played Prem before to be eligible for debut of the season. So Stinson, tell us who our fresh faces of season 15 were.
Okay, so first of all, that was all my fault, and I'm sorry for Murphy for getting his hopes up, but I did not check the debut of the season. I usually go through the players lists and their match history, and because I was late at night and was tired and I wasn't the best place, I forgot to do that this one season, and I got punished instantly for it. So Murphy, sorry, great season, but you were not nominated for this one. And it may sound strict that because he played only one game before, he is not nominated or not eligible to be nominated, but we have handled this in the past like this, so it would be inconsistent to go back on it now, because we actually had conversations, like Ubers, for instance, who was a high Sixers player. He murked once or twice for Highlander, and then he played a whole season and he wasn't nominated, and people were raging at me. But that's just how we do it. You may like it, you may not like it, but it's hard to draw a line. Anyways, the nominees for this season were Kazarok, Lightclaw, Lightclaw, and Skedis. I think all of these were nominated for their respective classes. Kazrak for Sniper, Lightclaw for Scout, and Skedis for Pyro. And the nominees, the results are, let me check here. We have Skedis in third place with the lowest percentage of the whole night from the players, 14.6%. And the first one was kind of close. And I think it was deserving though. Kazarok wins with 45.7, 45.8, and Lightclaw with 40%. So congratulations to these two.
Okay, yeah, congratulations, Kazarok, getting an award after missing out on Sniper. But obviously, people are definitely noticing. It's difficult when we come over this because we've already talked about how these players. I mean, I'm just going to throw it out to the room. How do you guys feel about those 3 nominations? Did Kazarok deserve it? Anyone else you guys nominated from your teams that you felt could be in with a shout?
I think Murphy would have deserved it.
I think Kazarok definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
To put such a performance, if you look at the Prem stats that Justice put together, and you just look at Kazarok's stats, thinking it's his first season in Prem, that's just really incredible. So I think he definitely deserved the first place here. I'm surprisingly, I've been positively surprised by Lightclaw. I knew he was a very strong DM scout coming into Prem, and he definitely performed to that level. So if it wasn't for Kazarok, he probably would have won.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just saying from my perspective, I've not been playing in this level for forever. But Kazarok before the season, I had there was this, how do you call it? This skepticism about if he's legit.
Yeah.
If he's just good, because of snipers, it's always the thing. If is he good or is he just cheating? But then he showed up at Copenhagen land, and we had people hanging out behind him while he was playing, and he was still destroying people. So I think we can legit say he's legit, and I think in that background he is surprisingly strong. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he is LAN proven. I mean, coming to Copenhagen and obviously showing that he can do it on LAN. I think that's kind of the mark of approval for a lot of people doing it at LAN as well as doing it in Prem. I mean, he's not playing for Phaler this season, I believe, Menties. Do you know what, is he playing? Is it going to be someone else? Does anyone know what he's doing for this season?
I don't really know, if I've got to be honest. I haven't really been following Phaler stuff ever since the season was over. Yeah, I don't really know. Sorry.
I think he wants to play with his old team again in high. I think high, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in chat now saying he's not playing with Phaler, so that's yeah. So yeah, may not see him in Prem next season, but who knows what the future holds? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, Sketis and Lightclaw, Sketis, both being nominated on their respective classes, obviously had a great season. And it's interesting when I think about, when people are talking about Wasp coming back. I didn't realize there was, players like that who were brand new to not playing in Prem before. So impressive for them to do so well in their first season. We have one more award, guys. One more award, and it is the big one. El Grande is going to be the MVP, the best player of the season, most valuable player, just the big cheese, the best person of the season, And I'm going to leave it to Stinson to let us know who was nominated for MVP of the season.
Stinson AFK? Oh no.
Oh, sorry, I was just muted because my push to talk button is weird. Nominated for the Player of the Season award were Mezzo, GardenFungus, and Sandburn. So, 2 of our guests here.
Let's go.
All 3 of them also nominated for the categories, by the way, and all 3 of them won their categories, if I'm not mistaken. because I've said that enthusiastically before I actually fact-checked it, but I think that's the case here. Yes, I am correct. I'm told by production, and Wiethoofd is the god of production. So, anyways, third place player of the season. The third best player of the season is Sandburn with 27.7%. It was quite close, but in the end, one of our two show guests won the best player of the season award. And I'm gonna draw this out as long as I can because that's suspense. Mezzo did take it. He won 39.5%, and GardenFungus is on second place with 33%. Congratulations.
Where's my beer?
Thank you.
We're gonna have a lot of people drowning this. Sorry, so Menty's just getting in on the act. Any excuse. Congratulations to Mezzo for winning MVP of the season's 2 awards in one night. How does it feel to be named the best player of Highlanders?
The best player in Europe.
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. I got like 4th place, and I'm the best player. Best by like there's no way.
I think Mezzo doesn't like move his face a lot when he talks, but I think he's moved right now.
He can't stop smiling. That's
what his moved face looks like.
Yeah, like I don't know. Last season I got like 2nd best buy, and now I'm like voted for the best buy and the best player for some reason. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised. Like really, like Sandburn and Garden are like really, really, really damn good, and I'm not sure if I deserve the most. Like really.
I find it interesting though because like you won against a Pyro and a Heavy, which are supposed to like watch out for you a lot. At least Pyro, like that like coins it for me because often you have like a sniper and a scout who just like go on crazy kill streaks, but like you have a Pyro and Heavy who are at least in Prem are kind of utility classes, and you're like the enemy of these utility classes. So I think like without having seen anything, that talks a lot about like how people saw your performance this season.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like I think it's impressive because these 3 classes are not classes you would normally ever see nominated for MVP. I mean, in previous seasons, we've seen things like Soldier. We've seen the likes of Demo in recent seasons, and Boar as a sniper, and all these players who have, like you say, these flashy kill streaks, these big plays. I think the only Heavy to have won MVP of the season before was Sandburn, and there's only ever been one Spy before to win Player of the Season. I don't think a Pyro has ever won. I think Steve was nominated for MVP once. I think Beep was nominated back in the day on one season, but I don't think any Pyro has ever actually won. So it's interesting to see a Heavy, a Pyro, and a Spy be the 3 top classes. And yeah, congrats to Mez. I mean, Fungus, how's it feeling, man? Like, I mean,
I'm gutted, man.
Gutted, yeah.
It's a loss of work.
A loss. Mezzo's taken the history, making history first Pyro of the season. But nah, Mezzo definitely deserved, man. He did very well.
And Mezzo won a hat by winning the category sponsored by KritzKast, I believe, a lo-fi long wave. So that's gonna be in your inventory somewhere the next days.
All right, cool.
And now you can feel even worse GardenFungus for seeing this.
Insult to injury.
Yes, I mean that's worth getting out of bed for. Is playing some Highlander and then you get a hat. So it's you may have only come 4th Mezzo, but you've now got a hat. So if you'd won, maybe you wouldn't have got MVP. Maybe it wouldn't have been flashy enough. But there we go, guys. Those have been our awards. So just a quick recap. I'm sure Wiethoofd has got something flashy available to show them up on the screen. With Best Scout of the season was May. Soldier was Jackie Legs. Pyro, GardenFungus. Demoman, Adiski. Heavy was Sandburn. Engineer was Cherry Rendezvous. Medic, Degu. Sniper was the Milchman. All of those 8 players representing the champions Elephant. Spy of the season was Mezzo from Open Squad. Kazarok was the debut of the season. Was nominated for Sniper, but was the best player in his first season. MVP of the season was Mezzo, again picking up 2 awards. So the only person to pick up more than 1 award this season. And then best caster was CeeJaey. So there we go. Those are our new, our MVPs of the season, our best players. And congratulations to all of those guys who've won their awards. And I think V has also got a graphic to show a new updated all-time awards list. I'm not sure whether that's changed. I'm gonna have to click because I can't see. So there we go. We see at the bottom there, +1, +2. So Mezzo there with his +2 is now in the kind of the top 10 or top however many that is. I don't know. And joined by Jackie Legs and Cherry picking up his second award. Jackie on his second award as well. So those guys are on 2. Sandburn up 1, up to 3rd. Up to 3 with his +1, as is May. Both of those guys picking up their 3rd award of the season. We see some players above them. We've got Blub and Ast there, names from days gone past. Blub, Ast, and Shadowburn, I have to point out, the only players to ever win their respective class. So Blub was Demo, Shadowburn Soldier, Ast Scout, debut of the season, and MVP. So those guys are the only players to win kind of that triple header. But we see just edging above those people is Adiski, who picked up his 4th award. So if he is indeed saying goodbye to Highlander, he at least is now in the top 5. He's on the same number as Shadowburn, Boar, Clark, and Dima. Actually, no, Boar didn't win debut of the season. So, I'm still correct. Lazy Bear, a legend of days gone past, still up there with 5 awards. Hasn't played, I don't think, since like season 9 or something like that. Still up there. Toast is in 3rd with 6. Steve is 2nd now with 8. And then there's some guy at the top who people are going to start to think is actually a good play, even though most of those are just for talking. So maybe this is my way to bait Steve into playing Highlander again by, telling him that everyone thinks I'm better than him now. Who knows? But there we go, guys. Those are the top awarded players. We see such a variety of nationalities there. It's pretty insane how much coverage we've got across Europe. But there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to probably just move on to shoutouts. We've covered last season. We've covered next season. I don't know if there's anything anyone else wants to add, but I'm going to start off with GardenFungus as the champion now and as kind of the team leader for and representative of pretty much, I don't know, like 80% of the award winners tonight. Have you got any closing words for us before you disappear?
I just wanted to say thanks to the guys on Elephant so much. And I know we're all splitting up and going our different ways pretty much, but it's been a great season and everyone's great to play with, great fun. That's all I want to say. Thank you very much. Awesome.
Moving on to Menty, you are the runner-up in a number of ways this season. In the division in Soldier, but like I said, in Emilio's heart, you are an amazing soldier. So that's like my well done sticker. It's my teacher sticker I'm giving to you for you to take away. And as Layla said in the chat, hopefully you've not turned into an alcoholic with the amount of beer she's been watching you drink. So any closing words before you disappear?
Shout outs to my 3 second places this season at this point, from like 6's Highlander and the awards. Shout outs to Fela for a really fun season, actually. Probably the most fun I've had in Highlander, except maybe Weep teams, I guess. And shout outs to Nunya Discord because they really asked for one. 2 World Wars, 1 World Cup.
Okay. And we're going to move on to our MVP of the season, double award winner from tonight. Spy of the season, best player of the season, Mezzo. Do you have any shout outs?
Yeah. Shout out to Murphy. Shout out to my brother. And of course, shout out to my team, OpenSpot. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And your teammate, Strno, didn't quite reach Pyro of the season, but thank you for joining us and for giving us your insight. Do you have any shout outs before we disappear?
Yes, I do. I even have a list. So shout out to Gary O, shout out to Zam, shout out to all Open Squad members, shout out to Austin616, shout out to GardenFungus for being very good Pyro and mentoring me when I was in the silver. Shout out to KritzKast, shout out to Team Fortress Emporium Workshop community, shout out to Semi for beating me on MG as a Demoman 20-6. Okay, yeah, I'm a very good Demoman. And shout out to Pi Sevi for artistic skill she's providing me through the workshop.
I mean, did you have that prepared beforehand? Yes,
I even have a paper and writing on that.
That's good. I like it. Come prepared to these things. That's good. We're gonna hit the Mr. Sheepy over on there on the left. Stinson, our head admin. Do you have any shout outs before we go?
Please do not call me Mr. Sheepy, because there's a certain individual in YouTube history I could be mixed up with. But I appreciate it. It's Sheep, who has been my avatar today, because my webcam didn't want to work today. Is one of my best friends. I know. Shout out to the ETF2L staff. Nobody ever thinks about the admins. I tell that every day, and you would be surprised how many people are involved in organizing the season. So shout out to especially, but not only, Blooders, Ayoshi, and of course Menty, because he's on the show. I kind of have to mention him. It would be awkward if not. Shout out to the gamers and teams who signed up, who played, who commit 2-3 days a week to play in our league. Without you, we wouldn't have this job, quote unquote, and we wouldn't have this experience of providing you with the best experience you can have. Shout out to KritzKast and especially Wiethoofd. I'm gonna award him for today the honorary award of season 2015, and for the best KritzKast dude there is. We have had honorary awards in the past for Sixes people, such as Admirable or Ari, but this is nothing official. But I think he deserves mentioning because he puts a lot of effort into his casts and organizing the casts, and even this award show, all you can see right now, it looks so pretty, and that's all because Wiethoofd cares about Highlander and cares about this game. So big shout out to Wiethoofd. Shout out to season 30. I know this is Highlander, but I'm representing for ETF2L, so we have our big season 30 going on right now. If you want to donate to that, you can do that via PayPal or item donations. You can find information about that on our website. The next season of Highlander, season 16, starts the sign-ups start at July 8th, and our next season starts at July 22nd. So it's only 1 month. Play some UGC, have your fun in there, but then it gets serious in the summer again when ETF hits you up season 16. Shout out to CeeJaey, thank you for hosting, and everybody turning up, watching the stream. And I know there was a lot of shout outs. I know there was a long kind of rant, but I appreciate being here, and have a good one, guys.
Can I interrupt for a second? Because people are just spamming me all the time that I didn't give them shout out. So shout out to Proper, Psyches, and Denkra. And I'm done, okay?
Are you sure? There's not another one you want to slip in there, Strno?
Well, no one else is messaging me.
Okay, well, thank you for all the shout-outs, guys. Thank you for everything. Shout-outs, I don't think anyone else I can cover that hasn't already been covered. Shout-outs to Proper for the graphics and artwork that you've been seeing here, and of course to Wiethoofd, congratulations on that honorary award for all of the stuff you do for KritzKast. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes on KritzKast. I mean, all the work and stuff. Stinson was talking about it earlier. The likes of Chandos and Jake Awati, who went all the way to land just to cast it. People like Agro, who's put the time and effort in to make this work with KritzKast. It's just been brilliant how much coverage we've actually had of Highlander, with kind of changing of hands of who's been covering it. We will have more casts coming up. Since I'm talking about the next ETF2L season, we will be there for preseason playoffs if they happen, and of course the main season, and we're covering the later playoffs, high, prem, anything we can get our hands on. And of course UGC is still currently going on. UGC Platinum season has only just started. I think we're on week 3 or 4 by now, and we will be covering every match as they come along on the Monday. Strno's making movement. He's making sense. Does he have more shout outs?
No, that was me.
Okay.
I actually had it noted down, but there may or may not be a Nations Cup during August. So if that's a tease for anyone, there's a Nations Cup in the summer. But that's all I'm saying.
Oh, there we go. Little rumor from the. I mean, if it's a rumor from the head admin himself, I mean, I think you can take that with, quite a. That's quite a weighty rumor. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, guys. Shout outs to all of my friends. I'm going to shout out Cloudy because he's in the chat because he wants to shout out. And,
Because he lives.
Because yeah, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. So shout out to Cloudy. And yeah, thank you for everyone who's watching the show and to all the people who've been coming here to spend time sitting in front of their webcams and and talking when needed. Thank you for showing up, everyone, and being a great group of players. Take care, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.